Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Sri Tips here, and here is my silver cell anode filters refining stuff. And I've reached a point where I'm not quite sure how to proceed, and so what I've done is just kind of set everything off to the side over here. And then sometimes when I do that and kind of meditate on it a little bit, the answer will come. So I put this up, and I've stopped doing this for a while. And what I've done is I started on some gold-filled stuff here. I've treated this with nitric acid, and I'm pulling that off now and filtering out this solution. This is gold-filled material that's had the base metals removed with hot dilute nitric acid boils, and I'm pulling that solution off. I'm filtering it. It's going to have a little bit of silver in it, but I'm not quite done with that. I got to add some more nitric acid in here and make sure I've got all of the base metals removed before I proceed. And back over here, I've got about an ounce of gold that I refined, some carat scrap, and I did this all off camera because I'm going back to a time when I first started refining, and it was so much fun. And then I started making videos, and it became like a chore. So what I'm doing here is spending some time practicing my old craft like I used to when I first started, and getting some fun and enjoyment out of it. A couple of things while I'm working on this. Number one, I get people asking questions through my eBay messaging system, and unfortunately eBay frowns on using their system to answer general questions about refining or anything else other than what the product is that's being offered. So if you ask a question about refining on my eBay messaging system, I'm going to have to delete it. The best place to ask questions about refining is in the comment section under the videos. I look at those every day. I read them, I read every one, and try to respond to the ones that have questions if I have an answer to offer for the question. If I don't have an answer, if I don't have the experience with the question that's being presented, then I'll just say that. So, if you want to ask questions about my refining techniques or anything else that I do on these videos, the best place to ask those questions is in the comments section of the videos. Okay, I've removed most of the liquid that was down in here, and so now all we have left in here is the gold mud and the gold foils from the gold filled material. What I have to do now is wait for this to pull down through the filter down into our flask down here, and then I'll take the filter out, add it into the gold filled material in this beaker, and then we're going to put some distilled water and nitric acid on there and do one more nitric acid boil just to ensure that we have all of the silver and all the base metals pulled out of this gold filled material. I'm going to set the lid on here. We'll move this out of the way. Now what we'll do is we'll take a look at this ounce of pure gold that I have in this container right here. I've done a single refining on this gold in here. I'm going to pour this waste off. So what I'm going to do is add some hydrochloric acid to the gold in this beaker. About take it up to about the 300 milliliter level. Okay, now we'll cover this up. I'm just going to boil the refined gold in some hydrochloric acid. I've had this boiling now for about 20 minutes, just to give you an idea what we're doing here. This is the specs on this batch. I had 33.7 grams of 14K, 31.2 grams of 10K, and I quartered it with silver, parted with nitric, and then we dissolved it in aqua regia and precipitated with SMB. That's what we have in our beaker back there, and we're expecting 32.6 grams of pure gold from this batch. So right now what we'll do is let's go ahead and take this lid off, and we're going to pour this off now into our waste container up here. Here's what our gold looks like down in the beaker after our first refining. Now we're going to dissolve the gold a second time. Add a little sulfuric or hydrochloric acid. I'm going to add some sulfuric acid to precipitate out any lead that may be present. Just a little bit in the pipette here. Now we're going to add some nitric acid and dissolve this gold a second time. I'm adding about 4 3 milliliter doses of nitric acid. We'll stick this up on the heat now. Cover it up and dissolve our gold a second time. Well, that took about 25 minutes. I think I see just a little bit, maybe not. I thought I seen a few granules of gold down there. That's okay. All the fumes have disappeared, and I think we've got just the exact right amount of nitric in there to just dissolve the gold. Here you can see our flask is full. So what we'll do is we're going to take the funnel off here. I still got some liquid in here. Take the funnel off. Get it out of the way. Let's empty out this solution. This is from our gold-filled scrap that we're working on also during this video. Hook this back up to our vacuum, and we'll continue to pull this liquid through the filter. Get everything rinsed down out of here. I've got all the solution pulled through the filter. There's our solution back here. It's going to have some silver in it. Now what we're going to do is take this filter and add it back into the main group of solids in here. There's another filter that was underneath. And that one's sticking to the floor. There we go, we got it. There's a filter. We'll add that back into there. I'm adding some more water, distilled water, to our gold-filled scrap. I'm pouring some more nitric acid in there. And what we're trying to do is make sure we've got all the silver and all the base metals pulled out of this material before we go to the next step to try to recover this gold. And what I'll do is I'll set this up on the heat back here and let this boil for a while. I've got two things going at once here. I've got this gold-filled material back here in the back. I've got this ounce of pure gold that I refined earlier, and that's cooling off. And then plus we've got our silver solution back here. This is the first nitric boil that we did. You can see there's metal in there. This is a piece of copper. Just add this right in there, and we'll cement any precious metals out of this solution onto that piece of copper. I'm always searching for new ways to improve efficiency and safety and procedure and so forth. This is the best way I've found to get the ice in there. If you just drop it in, it might splash some of our gold out of there. And the best way to do it that I've found is just tilt the beaker with a pair of tongs and let those ice cubes slide down in there gently so we don't kick up any of the gold solution and lose it. I've got the gold chilled down with some ice. Now what we'll do is filter it out. Got everything filtered out. Now what we'll do is transfer the solution to our beaker. Here we go. We've got some Stump Out by Bonide. This stuff is sodium metabisulfite, and it will precipitate out our gold. Go ahead and commence to do that right now. Here goes this first spoon of Stump Out, aka SMB, going into the solution right now. Let's see if we can get the rest of the gold to come down. Add another spoon of SMB and a third spoon, and this should do it for us. 3 spoons of SMB should be enough to precipitate out 1 ounce of pure gold. Let's do a quick Stannis test, just to be certain that we've got all the gold precipitated. And there you can tell by that negative Stannis test, all the gold has come down out of our solution. This is the first nitric boil from the gold-filled stuff. I poured it off, filtered it off, collected it in here, and we're cementing the precious metals out on a piece of copper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out of here and set it outside under a rain cover because I need the space. Now we're going to pour off the waste from our gold here. Let's pull the waste container down for a second. Now let's pull this gold-filled stuff down out of the way, off the heat, just a minute. I'm adding some hydrochloric acid to the gold. We're going to boil this gold in hydrochloric acid for a few seconds. Here is our pure gold ingot that we just melted and poured. It's got a nice shape to it, nice color. We were expecting about 33 grams, I believe. We got 35.7 grams. This is a few grams over. That's quite all right. We'll take that. And what I've done, if you look over here, I put the gold-filled material back up on the heat. I'm going to boil that a little longer in that nitric acid. The longer we keep that material under nitric acid, the easier the recovery and refining will be. And we'll do that in my next video. We'll show how much gold we get from that in my next video. But for now, this will conclude the this video, and hopefully after some time I'll be able to figure out what to do with the rest of my silver cell anode filters. Thank you for watching.